Alright, guys, so this is going to be the analysis for Manchester City versus Manchester United. I'm using an application called Tactical Pad. Over here you can see the watermark. So it's free application, thankfully. So yeah, this is going to be a new format for analyzing game from now on. So let's see how that goes to try and make it much easier for you guys to understand. So City started with a 4-3-3 in midfield, the basic 4-3-3 with the company Otamendi, Danilo Delph, Fernandinho Silva, Gundogan. The key point is you had Sane and Sterling wide, and you had Bernardo Silva in the center. When the City squad came out, I expected Sterling to be a false nine, but he started out on the wing, and that will contribute to something which I'll let you know. United Valencia by Smalling, Young, Matic, Herrera, Pogba, Lukaku, Lingard, Sanchez. So when City had the ball because they had more possession, naturally you had Lingard pressing company, and when he would press company, for example, you had Valencia moving and pressing Delph, and then that would So this is just an example of how United were pressing at times. Baye would come over to Sane if needed be. Herrera would move here, can move here. Same with Pogba, you could move here, here, and then you had Matic who would fill the space. So if this was left open, he would fill the space here. So then he could take care of Smalling can mark Bernardo Silva. So that was one type of pressing. Of course, if Lukaku would press Otamendi, you had Sanchez pressing Danilo, and if it would the same thing would basically replicate if Lukaku pressed company, Lingard would press here. So United were actually pressing many times as a 4-4-2 as well, so that you could apply a little bit more pressure. What really pleased me in the first 20-25 minutes was that United were actually trying to press and were not sitting deep. So one thing we did not see Sanchez defending here, which I was really happy about. We did not see Lingard defending here, which again I was really happy about. They would probably come back till around this area and then move back. I mean, then of course when United had the ball to try and build up the attack. But what that I was really happy for the first 20-25 minutes before the first goal came. City they did not have any forward here. They didn't have Jesus Aguero, so Bernardo Silva movement was really not that good. He didn't make many runs here. He didn't make many runs. He didn't pull out the centre backs. He was just making tippy tappy passes with Silva, Gundogan, and really not threatening the centre backs. And you can have Matic mark him well easily as well, and Smalling and Baye really took care of him. The first goal just comes from a corner, so I'm just gonna not move the whole team because that's gonna take ages. So the corner comes here, and he had Company who outmuscled Smalling basically, and he headed the ball in. There's really not much to analyze there. City got a corner that maybe De Gea, well, he wasn't unsure, so he tipped it over the bar. I think bent over, and that led to the corner. Eventually led to the goal. But after that, United sort of fell through. And what Guardiola did and what Man City did was they swapped this, and this made a massive, massive difference because now Sterling started making all these sort of runs and dropping deep to pick up the ball or dropping deep to move people. And what happened many times was, for example, if Sterling would move from here to here, you had Matic, and then Smalling would get dragged out as well. So this is bad defending actually, because if he's going here and you have Matic here, he should just stick to his position. There's no need for him to. Yes, name is Smalling. Thank you. No need to move. Over here you could stay here, or if Smalling does move here, then you need Matic either to cover, or you need Young to cover really quickly as well. So, but because of United's really horrible defending at both of these moves, Sterling would make a run here, which would then, and the ball is with Man City, then that would expose United defense, and with players like Silva, the ball would just come in midfield. Sorry, in uh, United's box, and Sterling would have a straight shot. Baye would come back. Maybe Young would be trying to get to him, or Smalling would be trying to get back, but it would not be enough. And he had some shots, and thankfully Sterling can't finish well, so he missed a lot of chances. United should have been 5-0 down the first half. So the second goal from Man City comes from a clearance from De Gea. It's a back clearance. Sane moves here. Sterling dragging out Valencia with him along here. And also Matic, who was sort of the central defensive meter, got dragged out over here. Sterling made the run here, eventually drawing by, and also Silva made a run here which dragged Herrera, and then eventually he went to help Baye out. Silva made a run in the box. Matic followed. Smalling was just over here not doing much. Gundogan by this time had also made a run. And here Bernardo Silva was about here occupying Young and also Smalling's mind to a certain extent. Pogba was around here, I think, if I'm not wrong. Anyways, he didn't really feature in this attack. Yes, Gundogan, thank you. So Gundogan essentially just came to the end of the box and paired up with Matic. The ball arrived from Sterling. He beat Matic. He turned him and he shot. I mean, that's like bad defending over there. Seriously, Matic should have done better. Bailly, Herrera should have done better. I'm just bringing them back into position. Um, have should have done better with that. It's just, I mean, it was a mess really. So the first half, Sterling's movement around here was, as I showed, kept driving. The United defenders all over the place. Just getting them back into formation. Need to find a way to do this faster. I did get a mouse to help me out with this because with my touchpad it would have been really hard. Right, so the first half, you have Sterling's movement, you have Silva's movement into the box, you had Sane moving in here, moving in there, and then Sterling, um, oh, the guy does not play there. And Sterling sort of making runs over here, also allowing Bernardo Silva to make runs here. So the change from Sterling to Silva, Sterling coming from with Bernardo Silva coming here really caused United problems in the first half. Herrera, he marked runners, but Herrera and Pogba stopped pressing as well. Lingard and Lukaku also stopped pressing as well because the confidence of United really dropped. In second half, the formation rate the same. It did not really change. But what changed was Pogba started getting up the field. Herrera started getting up the field. And all over here, which didn't happen in the first half. In the first half, you would see them get around in this position, try to play passes, which is fair. I mean, for 20-25 minutes, we weren't really in trouble, and we looked like creating something through our players up front. At 0-0, you can do that, right? You don't want to expose yourself too much because at 0-0, if you have Pogba over here and Herrera over here trying to make runs, this just leaves Fernando coming. This leaves Silva and Gundogan pretty much free. It will leave Sterling free to drop deep as well. So you can't just start the game like that. I mean, you can say like give the boys freedom, but they also have to be positionally correct because if you give them just freedom, they'll just run up over here and then leaving a hole in midfield. But at 2-0, you have to take the risk naturally, and it paid off. I think in other games, I would like us to at least allow Pogba to take that risk to move here, to move here. That would really help Manchester United create goal. That's why he's so good in left the midfield three because he has cover in Herrera and Matic to actually make those runs. Whereas in a midfield two, he has only Matic left, and then Matic gets dominated in midfield. So for the first goal, United, it was a good move. You had Lingard. You had actually Sanchez who was constantly dropping deep, and he managed to move around to the next second half of the pitch. You had Lingard making passes. I think Lukaku had moved out here, or he was deep. I'm not really sure. I'll have to check that. I think he moved out to the wide, but I'm just going to leave him here because he wasn't really involved. You had Herrera who had started the passing with Lingard, and then he had moved forward. Lingard and Sanchez hooked up really well. You had Kompany back here. Actually, you had these two were swapped. My bad. Right. So you had Otamendi who got dragged out to Sanchez. Let's put Otamendi and Sanchez here. You had Lingard who was here. Herrera, after making that pass, had made a movement here. And you had Pogba, who was also, actually in this case, Pogba and Lingard, Pogba had also made a clever movement around here. I think Lukaku was somewhere around here. I think he was occupying Kompany's mind as well, which sort of helped keep and you had Delph who had dropped back, and you had Fernandinho who had dropped back. So because I mean they're not classic centre backs, they couldn't really read the danger. So United's movement with Lingard and Sanchez, especially overriding the right hand side, really pulled out the centre backs and then split the centre backs, Kompany and Otamendi, which then got the two midfielders who were not really good. So when the ball, and by the way, this was one touch, which is really important to say because Sanchez brings the ball to Herrera. If Herrera takes time, then Pogba can't make that run. So when Sanchez gets the ball to Herrera, Pogba makes that run, free run through Fernando Delph and scores. In the second half, City really just United allowed you. They didn't really defend well. They didn't press United well, which of course I'm really happy about. But it was really surprising to see that they just let United midfielders through and didn't really didn't really defend really well. Otamendi was just he was a shadow of himself. We can see that he can do that in games at times, and he definitely did that in this game. The second goal is really not hard to analyze because Sanchez gets the ball here Okay, Young is a little bit up front. Uh, shit, where did Young go? Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to get Young back. Young, where are you? Okay, there you go. Thank you guys. Thank you. All right, so Sanchez gets the ball deep. Pogba, basically, you had Fernandinho and Silva and Gundogan when United had the ball. This is what they were doing here. You had, I think you had company drawn out a little bit here, and you had Otamendi here, and you had Delph. Well, okay. So Sanchez had the ball deep. Basically, Pogba just walked through. If you look at the second goal, he just goes like this. I think they were swapped. Anyways, so you had Otamendi here, who just basically just allows Pogba to just waltz through. Really, he just waltzed through. He walked from here. He walked in between all of them, and he just went through, and nobody picked him up, and he scored a beautiful header. Sanchez was deep here, occupying Gundogan, Danilo as well, and Lukaku. Um, all right, so he just essentially just walked through. This is all he did. There's not much analysis here. They just let him go through, and you want Pogba to make those type of runs a little bit more as well, because that would really help Manchester United in a lot of big games. And of course that's why in the midfield three everybody wants him to play in a midfield three, because in a midfield three, Herrera and Gundogan can make up for the space that Pogba leaves behind. So you had Pogba making runs over here, and the third goal is Sanchez. We get a free kick from that position. You have Otamendi with Smalling, and Smalling essentially just Otamendi again just lets him through and he scores. So Otamendi really messed up in the second half as well. And City just did not press well. They did not. I mean, they did not do what they usually do in defense. They missed a host of chances. Ashley Young also should have been sent off. Really, he got lucky. He got the ball, but he got Aguero's shin as well, so he should have been sent off for sure. And then with the substitutions, you eventually had let me see, you had Gundogan off, and you had right. So you had KDB. Let me just check the substitutions. Oh no, yeah, David Silva off. Right, but Gundogan also came off, thankfully. So you had Kevin De Bruyne come off. You had Sterling come back on. You had Bernardo Silva come off. You had Aguero, and you had Jesus. So what City did after going like losing 3-2, they essentially just went to a proper a 4-4-2 over here. Right. So this is what City eventually did. They went to a 4-4-2. Mourinho responded by also making substitutions of his own. So let me get that. You had, let me see, I think I've named them here, right? You had McTominay come on the pitch, you had Lindelof come on the pitch, and you had Marcus Rashford come on the pitch, and we had Sanchez come off, right? So Sanchez came off. Then I think we had Herrera also come off eventually. Herrera came off. And then we had Lingard come off. And then because City moved to a 4-4-2, you had um, United also moved to a 4-4-2. You know, McTominay actually was put over the right, which was very interesting to see. But he was in a right, but he wasn't over here. He was just basically over here to help United see out the threat. And you had Lindelof. All right. So I mean, I'm not really sure Mathis Lindelof, but they were here to essentially protect and make it into a 4-4-2. This is how the game ended. City, of course, you can argue were higher up the pitch because they were trying to attack. But what really impressed me in this game was that apart from United being really shambolic after the first goal, before the first goal, United actually pressed well enough, were in good position. Bernardo Silva didn't cost any much problems. But after the first goal, United fell apart in the first half. They just stopped. They forgot how to defend. In the second half, they came back with a proper attitude. Herrera, Pogba started making runs into City's box. City defenders stopped defending essentially. United got 3 quick goals and eventually seeing the game out. Hey guys, thank you for watching the analysis. I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the new format. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave your feedback about the video, about the analysis, about the match, what you thought, everything. And thank you for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Take care, and see ya.